Hi, my name is Doak Worley, and I'm the inventor of the Heavenly Hoophouse Complete Growing System. I'd like to say thank you for watching our video and allowing me to introduce you to the most functional growing system in the backyard greenhouse market today. So let me tell you how we entered this exciting new market. A while back, I decided to build a greenhouse for my wife that would allow her to grow vegetables year-round in our backyard, making her work easy and fun. We felt it was important that we were able to grow our own food year-round during these trying times of uncertainty. They're going on all around us throughout the world today. I began exploring greenhouse kits. They were supposedly easy to assemble and nearly indestructible. To my surprise, I discovered that they're not easy to assemble and very flimsy. I was also very disappointed in the design and functionality. Oh, by the way, did I mention they're also very expensive for what you get? It was just a shell, and you have to figure out all the rest. So I decided to build my own from scratch because of my experience in the construction industry. I figured piece of cake. I have to admit, I didn't expect this project to take me 3 months to complete. After a couple of weeks of research, I knew what I wanted in a greenhouse. The most functional greenhouse ever built. So after 3 months of thinking, building, visualizing, and then followed by many more days of thinking, researching, building, and more visualizing, the masterpiece was complete. And as people began to see what we created, everyone wanted one of their own. After building a few greenhouses and making improvements along the way, the word began to spread, and we knew we were onto something. So our adventure began. So here's what we've come up with. All greenhouses will be custom built to your needs. We're going to limit our construction to 100 greenhouses per year to ensure quality. No detail left behind. Our greenhouses will be delivered and set up on your property by competent and courteous installers with all trash and unused materials cleaned up, leaving your property looking cleaner and neater than when we arrived. And with our website, you'll have all the information you need to be successful. That's our pledge to you. So let's take a tour. Follow me over here. You're going to notice that we have 2 vent panels on each end of our greenhouse. Okay, these vent panels are 60 inches high. That's allowing proper upper level ventilation. Now, if you look over here at our doors are triple hinged with very wide openings. That allows you to be able to get things in and out. Now, notice we have the walls of the greenhouse are 32 inches tall. Okay, now these walls are very important because this 32 inches protects and insulates the house from colder weather in the wintertime. Now, we also have venting panels, and we're going to show you how they come in and out very easily in just a second, and the importance of the venting panels. You'll also notice that along here we have wire that keeps rodents and things that you don't want in your greenhouse out because they can be destructive. Now, up here, I'd like you to notice that all of these ribs are on 2-foot centers. This is very, very important because the 2-foot centers also have a rib right down the middle of them on each side. This rib that runs down the middle also gives it extra strength. Now, I'm not aware of any other greenhouses that are on 2-foot centers like this with the support down the center. That's important because these ribs here on 2-foot, everything I've ever researched are all 4-foot centers. The 4-foot centers are, there's less support here. So what's important, especially around where we live in the Prescott area, this increases the ability to resist wind and also increases, actually doubles the snow load. Because we do have a chance from 18 to 2-foot snows from time to time around here. Not often, but it does happen. So this helps with extra support. Now, if you look down here, these are our raised garden boxes. The raised garden boxes are on they're 28 inches high. Now, that is very, very important. Okay, 20 inches high is just the perfect level to be able to do all your gardening needs in here. You're not bending over while you're planting, or while you're weeding, or while you're harvesting. It takes a lot of relief from your back. Now, you'll also notice that on the garden boxes, we have hoops. These hoops are important because in the wintertime, we can stretch row cover over these hoops. And then we have lights that are underneath the row cover, and we'll turn the lights on. And this is going to increase the temperature underneath by your plants by as much as 5 to 8 degrees, which is very important to prevent anything from freezing in here. Okay, you're going to also notice up along here, this is a misting system that we have in the house. Now, the misting system can drop the temperature in your hoop house by as much as 20 degrees. So it's very important in the summertime because your hoop house temperatures can actually explode to upwards towards 125, 130 degrees unless you have some sort of system that's able to cool this hoop house down. And we have several methods of doing that, and we'll get to that in just a second. So if you'll follow me down here, you're going to notice some of the plants that we have here. We have growing here, and keep in mind that your plants, different types of plants grow at different times of the year. So you're going to notice this is chard that's growing here. This is a very nice warm weather plant here. Now, we have a few potatoes in here. We're kind of playing around with some different types of potatoes here. But be honestly with you, potatoes are not a hot weather crop. This is a crop that needs to be planted in early spring or in the fall. Okay? Then we have celery down here. Celery does very well in your hoop house, but celery is also more of a late summer type crop to plant to get a nice celery growth. Now, if you'll notice on the ground here, that, wow, what a nice big weed you got. But these are actually watermelons and cantaloupe, and they absolutely love the heat from a hoop house. Okay, so this is a watermelon that's growing out down here, and then this is a cantaloupe that's growing along over here. And you'll probably notice that up in here, there is a little cantaloupe here. Over here, we've got a little cantaloupe on the rail here. I don't know if can you see that? All right there. And then if you'll notice, the watermelon is growing down here, and the cantaloupes are the bigger, wider leaves. The watermelons are the smaller leaves here. And then notice this nice little melon right down here that we've got growing. So the watermelons and the cantaloupes do exceptional in summertime for your greenhouse. You'll also notice that we're able to put shelves along the side. The shelves are really, really nice for in the spring and the fall for sprouting new plants. We can actually plant plants from seeds or from starts, from some cloning and things that we do as well. But this is a good area to have them start right here. Now, you're going to also notice that this is all connected to plumbing. We are capable of doing the plumbing in your hoop house for you as well. That allows you to hook up the misting systems and your watering hoses and stuff like that to keep your hot house watered thoroughly. Okay, so if you'll follow me over here, you're going to notice this is a fan here. Now this is actually a slave fan to this over here. Now the reason I say it's a slave fan is this fan is computer operated. This one ties into the computer, so it does exactly the same thing that this fan over here. These fans are 2,400 cubic feet per minute ventilation with louvers on the outside of them. Now the louvers, when the fan comes on, opens up. When the fan is off, it closes down. Okay? That also allows the louvers to keep the moisture from coming in. Okay? These fans are always placed at the opposite end of the upper vents that are on the other end of the hoop house. That allows the wind to draft through here and out the fans. Now let's come over here to this too. You're going to notice that we do have electrical boxes, we have lights over here, and we have switches. So we have the capability of completely wiring your hoop house for all your electrical needs. We can wire it up for fans and for lights and for switches and for plugs. And we also have a wonderful high efficiency heating system that we can also put in your hoop house if you have an area where you slip into those lower temperatures, somewhere around the 20s or even a little below during the winter time, so we're able to keep your hoop house up above those freezing temperatures in the winter time. Okay, now if you'll follow me over here, we'll show you some more plants. These are green beans here that we're growing. Green beans are an exceptional plant too. If you'll notice, we have a nice little crop of green beans. Now these are approaching the end of the growing season, but we've got some nice crop here too. Boy, I tell you, nothing better than a good fresh green bean, and oh, they're so sweet right off the vine. Over here, we've got some tomatoes. Tomatoes do exceptional in your hoop house during the summertime. You'll also grow your tomatoes deep into the fall, and you'll start them early in the spring. So as you can see, we've already harvested the nice ripe ones, but we've got some nice green ones here too. Now, another thing, boy, that bean is really good too. But another thing that I really love is in the fall, when the tomatoes are starting to get to the end of the season. You're going to find you're going to have a lot of green tomatoes on here. My wife picked the green tomatoes, and she makes you something called chow chow. That's a green tomato relish. It's absolutely incredible for things like pinto beans and for putting stuff in like a chicken salad or something like that. So it's a wonderful sauce. By the way, these tips on the plants that grow and what times of the year they grow and what to plant at certain times, all that information is on our website. We're going to also show you the carrots. Carrots are, again, these are towards the end of the season on the carrots here. Okay, this is just going into summer here. And so here we got a crop here of wonderful radishes. Now you'll notice the radishes as they get to be ready here, they start popping up above the ground. And so there's a nice radish there. We'll go ahead and set that aside and pick that up in a minute. This is lettuce. Now the lettuce here we've allowed to grow to seed. We've already harvested the lettuce, so we're going to let these go to seed. So now we have seeds for the next year. But we do all of that sort of thing with like tomatoes, with beans, with peas. This is okra down here. We're allowing some of these larger pods of okra here to get big, and they're growing to seeds. And just to give you an idea, let's kind of take one off of the stem here, and we'll show you. We have okra that we've allowed to grow to seeds here. And you'll notice the little seeds inside, and they'll just kind of pop right out, and you'll have seeds for next season as well. Now, let's go ahead and step out the door, and I'm going to bring you out here to show you ribs that we have and that we're able to take out. These are vent panels. Now, the vent panels are also very important. The vent panels easily come in and out. Okay? Now, what you can do is these vent panels are designed to help you regulate temperature. For example, in the summertime, you want to take all the panels out. So you'll just slide all your panels out, and you can actually put them away in storage through the entire summer. Okay, so we'll take these all completely out here. So they come in and out very easily. Now, in the wintertime, you want to put all the panels in. That holds the heat in the wintertime. So when the panels are out in the summertime, that allows ventilation to come through the lower portion, the vents through the topper portion, and you can regulate the temperature a lot easier, also using the misting system. So we have 3 different ways to regulate the temperature in here. We've got the fans, the panels here, removable ones, and the other panels on the end, on the upper level at 60 inches. Now, these things are kind of important though in the fall and in the spring. Because in the fall and the spring, we're going to have different temperature needs. For example, in the springtime, if you have all the panels in, during the day it's going to warm up and you're going to have too high of a temperature in your hoop house. So you may only want to remove about half of the panels and leave half of them in, or say every other panel. Okay, you'll remove and leave the other one in. That allows ventilation. Same way in the fall. Now, most hoop houses, in fact, all hoop houses that are made like this, they all have the covering that goes all the way to the ground. Now, this is a vinyl covering that's designed specifically for hoop houses. And it's designed to prevent ultraviolet rays from getting in, and also the sweating from the humidity inside from coming out. Now, one thing I didn't mention too, the computer that hooks up the fans, it's a 5-speed fans. Now, these 5-speed fans are very interesting because they're designed to come on at 80 degrees. And then as the temperature raises every 3 degrees, the fan speed goes up. Okay, so as the temperature raises, your fan speed is going to go up, circling more air in and out of your hoop house, keeping the temperature, because your goal is to keep your temperatures between about 80 and 95 degrees. Okay, so you want to keep your temperature in there for the best performance in the summertime. So these allow you to do a lot of things as far as regulating the heat as well. Okay, now another thing that I want to mention too is this is very important to have. This it's actually a chicken wire around the inside of it that allows you, if you're on a farm or something, for chickens to get out. A lot of people in areas where there's a lot of rabbits or something like that, and that keeps that from coming in and out. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and walk out to the front. Okay, so when we walk out to the front, we're going to show you some different models. Now this, by the way, the model we just toured is our 20-foot wide by 30-foot long model. This model was designed for larger properties and for larger growing capacities. This model here now, if we are to go through any kind of troubled times or anything like that, maybe a COVID lockdown or any problems with being able to get out to actually to get your produce and the food that your family needs to eat, this model right here will actually grow enough food for a family of 8 to 10 people to actually survive off of a hoop house this size. Okay, now we do have smaller models because we realize a lot of people that live in the cities have smaller backyards and everything. So this is actually one that's designed for larger properties or for people who have larger needs for feeding a lot of people. So we're going to walk out here now and look at some other models, some smaller models, to show you some different models. These are actually models that are designed for smaller backyards or for some people who just don't have the room to put a big hoop house. Or if you want to get into the market of this and just want to cut expenses, this is a less expensive model as well. So here's what we're going to show you. Notice these all also have the upper level vent fans, 60 inches high, that allow for the upper level ventilation. Okay, they also have the removable panels that you can remove up and down as well. And this model here is a 12-foot by 12-foot model. This one will support 2 growing boxes. Okay, now on the smaller models, you'll also have an exhaust fan over here that we can put in the hoop house for you as well. Now these exhaust fans here, along with a misting system, will keep your temperature, the goal is to keep it between 80 and 95 degrees. So that's what we're going to try to accomplish here. This has the same plastic structure over it. This is a polypropylene plastic designed specifically for hoop houses that limit the ultraviolet rays and keep the humidity from gathering on the inside of your hoop house. This hoop house, by the way, is great for a family of 2 to be able to provide all the food you can eat year-round in this hoop house if you set it up properly. Now, let's go over here and look at this hoop house here. This is actually a frame of a hoop house that we're currently building right now. Now, the frame of this hoop house also has the panels for the vent here, but this one is our most popular model. This one is a 12-foot by 20-foot. Okay, this one will actually support 4 of your raised garden boxes in here. On the raised garden boxes, then that allows you to be able to grow enough food for a family of 4 out of this. Now, some other things that I mentioned, in the bigger hoop house, you notice how the vines had actually grown out of the boxes onto the floor. Okay, now your floor is actually lost space, but it doesn't have to be lost space, because you can also grow plants in the little planter bins. You can, little black planter bins like you see at Home Depot or something like that with plants in them. And you can have plants all along and around the sides of the hoop house as well, growing, giving you increased capabilities. But just with the garden boxes alone, the one that we just showed you first with the 2 boxes will produce enough food year-round for a family of 2. This with just the garden boxes will produce for a family of 4. Now, by the way, we also construct lean-to models for neighborhoods with smaller yards that are attached directly to your house. These models are made in a 10 by 20 model and a 10 by 12 model. Now, at Heavenly Hoophouses, we only build 100 greenhouses a year. So call or come visit our models in Paulden, Arizona to schedule yours to be built today.